Okay, here we go with another one. This is a 2003-ish, I think. Yamaha Kodiak. I think this is a 400. I'm not too sure though. I don't see any decals on it to tell the size of the engine. This is a pretty sweet little machine. The guy that dropped this one off said that it will not start with the button, but it does start with if you pull it over. So turn the key on here. Key's on. Neutral light is on. It just goes click, clickety click. That would be the starter relay. But what I think is really kind of weird, so if you look at that when you click it, why does the temperature light come on when you're clicking on that? I think there's a little bit of a wiring faux pas here. This will be an interesting one. I got to pull all the plastics off. Hey. That's pretty sweet. Let's see what else you got here. Alright, so the first place I'm going to look is right here at the starter solenoid. So these wires going in on the top, this is for your button that run it. And you got two fuses on here, and I've already had a look at these fuses. But looking at the fuses, not always right. Sometimes you can have a leg burnt off a fuse. So I'm going to pop this guy open. Oh, or maybe I'm not going to pop this guy open. How the hell did you get into that? Technical difficulties. Alright, let's try the right tool for the right job here. Without stabbing me right through the thumb. Alright. So what I'm going to check here is that we got power running across both. Just a simple test light. I'm going to hook it up to battery positive, which is here. So if I touch anywhere metal or the ground, I don't know if you can see that or if I'm not in frame. So here on this side of the starter solenoid is battery positive, so we're going to hook it on that. I'm just going to go right to battery negative, and we got power there, right? And lights up. I want to make sure that each of these has power. That does not, and that does not. So what are those? Okay, that's strange. Don't have power across. Oh, there's another thing too. So if you watch, I should be able to get power from one side of this to the other. That is not happening. That means something is not hooked up right here. Strange. Lost in thought. So that means another thing you should be able to do, you should be able to take a screwdriver and cross these two posts and crank it with the key even turned off. And you see I can cross these two posts and there's no sparks, there's no nothing. That leads me to believe that this is not connected to the starter. So now we do this. I got my voltmeter. I'm going to put it on just continuity, something simple. So when you put the two leads together, you get continuity. And it beeps. I'm going to go right to the starter, right to the wire coming off the starter. If I can even get to that wire. God, there's so much crap in the way on these things. Can't even get my hand in there. Excuse me. But if I can get up and get to that. Now, this should beep. there is no continuity between this wire and the starter. And if this is the starter wire, well, then that means that there's nothing happening here. So I gotta pull all the plastics off. Wrong way. I'm gonna pull the rear plastics off, and I'm just gonna have a look at the wiring, because the way it is now, God, you can't see shit. You can't get in there with anything. How am I supposed to get down? I'll show you where the starter wire is. So we come down here, right in there. So there's the starter right there. The wire's coming out the top of it. How in the hell you're supposed to get in here? Well, you got the shifter bar, you got all this other crap. So I'm just gonna pull the plastics off, pull the back rack off, pull the plastics off, and I'll probably do it off camera. It's boring, nuts and bolts and screws and blah blah blah. Alright, with the plastics all taken off here, I found the fuse panel, which is underneath everything. I'm going to go through all the fuses. And this is the power wire that goes up to the starter. I believe this goes to power up everything up front. That would be your main power. Right, where does this guy go? And here's your ground. And your starter wire. Now I can test this wire properly. So now we can test this wire properly. I couldn't get in there before, so you can see right down there is the starter. I'm going to test continuity on this wire. I don't think we're going to have any, because I should have been able to jump that starter. Continuity tester. Hopefully you can see what the hell it is I'm doing. So we're going to jump from this down to here. And we have continuity, so what? Interesting. So how come I couldn't jump that? That's new. So then, I wonder if I get my jump pack. Here's my jump pack. Just grab a ground on the frame, and if I touch this to that wire, it should jump the starter, and it's not. Is there bad ground on this thing? What if we grab it on, let's grab it on a bolt on the case. Interesting. Turn that on. This thing's got power. We'll go right to the starter itself. Okay, get that in there. right to the ear on the starter. I think this machine's got a bad ground somewhere. Oh no. What is happening? Interesting. I put power right in the starter. Right to the starter. Huh. What is happening? This is strange. My jump pack dead, I wonder? Jump pack says... What? How is that possible? My jump pack is dead? Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. There we go. Being stupid. Jump pack says 12.5 volts. So there's something funky happening with the starter here, I think. That's odd. Oh. I think I'm going to pull the starter off. So that's the starter. That is power, main power. Main power to this, so this is power machine. Where's power into the harness? Power into the harness would be through probably this big fat red guy. So that would be power into the harness. Around. We have power up to there. We have ground here. Stick. What the fuck? Okay. Gear in. Lights are on. Out the wire. Alright, I'm pulling that starter off. I just don't know here. I'm going to see if the starter has the capability to actually turn. Because this may end up being a bad starter. Which would be, I don't know, that never happens. Usually it's a wiring problem with these machines. Now we got to get it out of there. They don't give you a lot of room in this. Oh my god. Silver hammer and punch. All right. Ooh. Pretty noisy. But I don't know. Let's test this starter and see if it even has the ability to turn. Alright, I'm gonna grab my jump pack. Let's see if the starter even has the ability to turn over. And I'm going to take the wire off of here. Now you can't even see what I'm doing. Amateur. Have the power on it. Turn the jump pack on. Anywhere on here should spin this thing. Does it have the power to turn over? Nope. Huh. Nope. Okay, I'm gonna say starter's dead. Definitively. I'm gonna open that up, but I want to check and see a couple other things on this machine. I think it also has a bad fuse for power for things, and I found the fuse panel. Here's the fuse panel. I gotta hook everything back up here. The way that was in the machine, I had my knee freaking hurt. I have power, and that other one's the winch. So we got power, we got winch. And this one. And we had starter wire on this one. So that's all right. So I need a booster pack. On. We want power to this guy. I can't even see what I'm doing. Oh, such a bad YouTuber. So power on that guy, and we'll ground on this guy. We have key on, that's right. click and click. I want to check power. Why is it showing me negative voltage? We want to check for power. I'm going to go right to the negative battery post, my voltmeter. I'm going to go to this post for the starter, and that should tell us on our voltmeter if everything is working right. I'm getting power. Everything here is working right now. Right, you see that? Push the start button. You get 12 volts right down there. Okay, so everything here is good. Everything here tests good on the machine. Still had to pull the plastics off to get that starter out of there, so it wasn't a waste of time. Or too much of a waste of time. And let's face it, it only took me like 10 minutes to pull it all down. So everything here tests good, which is strange. Because before I took it apart, it didn't test good. I couldn't get power to go across that starter solenoid, and I bet you I could now. So we did this before, right? We put the ground on the ground, right? The power on the power. When we ran the test light, right? We had power here. We couldn't get power on this side. Now, I need 3 hands. Now I'll push the button. Now we do have power. So that's sort of what I hate about wrenching and mechanicking, is because some things work sometimes, and then cases like this, it didn't work until we screwed with it, and now it works, and we don't know what the hell we did. That's the problem with mechanicking. You have to sort of troubleshoot it. So now I want to know, what is it that I touched that made it work? I haven't got a frickin' idea. I haven't got a single clue. We couldn't get any power to go across this, and now we can, and now we do. So same if I were to go down here. The power, the test light should light up when we hit the button. And the test light does. See, it wasn't doing that before. So something that I did jarred something, wiggled something, and it's all working. Yeah, and see, this fuse holder on this side is just a spare. So this doesn't actually do anything. This is just a spare slot for one. And I couldn't get any power. Oh yeah, see? See, I couldn't get any of this stuff to show power on. And now it does. Yeah, these stupid fuses. They're supposed to be open on the back, and this one is clearly not. Interesting. Well, now that we know we need a starter, I'm going to pull that other starter apart. We'll have a look at it. See why it quit spinning. All right, let's bust into this beauty. See what is wrong, or what was going wrong. Before I do, though, I'm going to hook her up to power again, and we'll just see if we can get it to make a squeak or a noise or anything. So power on to power. Just hit this on the ground. I'm going to turn my jump pack on. It should do something. So what if we whack her with this? Whack the starter with a hammer. There we go. Ooh. Ooh, that sounds awful. Gross. Okay, so there we go. There's your definitive answer. That's why I wasn't cranking, because the starter is bad. But also there's other stuff that I fixed simultaneously somehow, without knowing how, and blah, blah, blah. Let's pull the starter down and just have a look. See if we can have a look inside. Ew. There's engine oil coming out of it. I know that, because this goes into the crankcase. Just pull this down, pull it apart, and just have a look. I don't think it's fixable. I think it needs bearings. I think it needs to be remanned. I don't think these starters are that expensive. So far so good, the bearings look good. Oh boy. Oh my god. Look at that. Yeah. Oh boy. Look at that. That's all. That would be all carbon brush. Ooh. I would say that's why it doesn't work. That is pretty nasty. Let's have a look here. Oh, the brushes have been cooked. You know, this looks like it had water in it at one time. Oh boy, if you can smell this fucking smell. Shims. Base shims. Well, the armature looks okay. Yeah, too bad you can't buy brushes for this stuff anymore. Yeah. That definitely had water in it. Look at all the rust on that. Yeah, and the brushes are all stuck. These should be spring loaded. Brushes are all stuck by these springs here. Oh, that one's not stuck anymore. I wonder if we could get this starter to actually work. And the guy's got $0 invested in it. He got it from his neighbor who just didn't want to screw with it anymore. Oof. Oof, these things have a smell and a half. That one's working. I'm going to clean this up a little bit, put it back together, and see if I can't get it to actually work. Alright, I got all those brushes all cleaned up. It sounds actually a lot better. What do you think? Think it's going to spin better? I think if it spins better, I'm going to throw it on there and see if it'll turn the engine over. Because if it were mine, I would not spend money on a new starter. I would just put this back in. But it's a customer, so I don't know. Okay, let's see. Holy shit! Like a brand new starter! Yeah, baby! So, for shits and giggles, I'm just gonna throw it back on there and see if it works. Alright. Redneck Repair Starter is back on there, and let's give her a shot. What do you think? Here we go, 1, 2, 3. Holy shit, it works. It sounds something awful. Ah, it sounds better now. Oh, needs gas to start. And yeah, needs a carb kit. I heard it was just spilling gas all over the place. So I think that's enough. For testing anyway. jump pack's just about dead, that's why he's doing that. I like those kinds of repairs. I'm still going to recommend to the customer that, yeah, you should probably put a starter on it. That thing sounds quite awful, but it works. But there's two different kinds of guys. There's guys that take these machines and they go hunting and they go up in the mountains, and there's guys that run them around the yard and do yard work with them. Well, if it was my machine, I wouldn't do anything with that. And mainly, if it were my machine, it has the pull cord on there. It's got this way. So even if you're out in the middle of boondock nowhere, you can just start it this way. Oh! Just start it like that. So it really doesn't matter. But customer, I'm gonna get him to get a starter, and he needs a carb kit because it's already dripping on the floor. All right, bye.